we win the ACC conference, so the winner goes to the BCS Bowl. So we're going to get to go to the Sugar Bowl. We're going to play Georgia. Now, Georgia had a great year. Georgia, I think, was 13-0 that year. Y'all remember 3 years? Georgia had a great ball club. We were, gosh, maybe 8-4 or something like that, which, you know, not like Georgia. So anyway, our quarterback misses a final exam. He sleeps through a final exam. Now, we got a rule at Florida State University. If you don't take your final exam, you can't play in a bowl. Now, we're the only dadgum school in the country that's got that rule. It makes me so sick. Well, that dang Tommy got kids that ain't even been to school yet. Of course, he didn't either. But anyway, back to the bowl game. So anyway, so we're going to play Georgia, and we ain't got a quarterback. That was the year my second team quarterback got kicked off for gambling. Do you remember that? So now I got a third team quarterback. He ain't played any, you know, and he's going to have to start against Georgia. So we prepare him the best we can. Guys, we just know because Georgia had a great defense, see, so we get him prepared the best we can. So we go out there and we I forgot who kicks off, but anyway, Georgia scores first. They get a field goal. We got 3-0 first quarter. Our quarterback goes back and hits a touchdown pass. Now we're up 7-3. He's doing okay, you know. Then the game's kind of rocking along. Both defenses are holding each other. All of a sudden, my quarterback throws a flat. He got some pressure, and he just threw the ball without thinking. Somebody picked it off, went about 75 for touchdown, you know. Now they're 10-7. And then later on, he throws another pass, intercepted, you know. Then it comes back in the third quarter, he throws another interception. Now what happens, the game had caught up with him. The game had caught up with him. And when he threw that third interception and set up another Georgia score, when he came off the field, Anquan Bolden, our number one receiver, who was Rookie of the Year last year in the NFL, told him, he said, Fabian said, if you'll tell me which one of those safeties you're throwing to, I'll try to intercept it.
What up? If you were looking at this face and listening to this voice, you were tuned in to the best kept secret in sports talk. I'm your friendly neighborhood smoke, and you are officially on the hot seat. What we do on the hot seat? We set somebody's ass on fire. And this week we're going to talk about Florida State and their fall camp. So, man, without any further ado, paying homage to the ghost to my left and my right, I know why you come here. Come for the gospel. God damn it, I'm going to give it to you. Ding, ding, man. Class is in session. So, like I said, man, Florida State kicking out the fall camp for the 2021 season. Just wrapped up their first scrimmage. I was interested to see exactly what was going to come out of that scrimmage. Scrimmages hold a good deal of weight with me because I believe, in practice, it's a controlled setting for the most part. You're able to dictate how things go, but, when you have a scrimmage, things, they change. The leash is taken off, the reins are taken off a little bit, and kind of let the kids loose and see what you're really working with. This is a completely different team from what we saw in 2020. Look at, the number of transfers that Florida State has. You're trying to see who wants to compete at a high level, where these guys are going to play, who's going to get this role, who's going to play that role. So, like I said, I was really anxious to see exactly what was going to come from this scrimmage. Even though it is just the first scrimmage of the fall, I really wanted to lay some eyes and put some ears on what people were saying about it. And didn't say anything out of the ordinary. Nothing I don't think I expected to hear. Nothing I didn't think nothing I didn't expect to read. Even out of fall camp itself, there's been nothing that I would say, well, there's one thing in fall camp that I saw that it made me extremely happy. I was really, really pleased to hear that Travis Jay was playing cornerback. Doesn't mean he's going to start at cornerback. Some people feel we need him more at safety. I'm not of that mindset. It all depends on what the kid, McKelly, that's his name? I don't know. McKellen from Arkansas can do at safety because I know he's playing a good bit of it. But I told you all last year we were all looking for an answer opposite, excuse me, Asante Samuel, and I said then the answer is on the field. He's just playing safety. I think Travis Jay would be better suited, and the team could benefit a good deal from him playing at cornerback. Not saying they can benefit him from him playing at safety, depending on what he's actually do, whatever the scheme is. I know the scheme is going to change a little bit this season, but I think he'd be better suited at cornerback. I think the team, like I said, would benefit a great deal from it. So that's really the only thing I've gotten out of fall camp that's caught my ear thus far. One thing I wanted to discuss, and this is just with fall camp in general. Um, you know, over I'm probably at every level, high school, NFL, college. At the start of the season, that's probably when each fan base is at its most optimistic. I think that's when the fan base is most excited for every team. Because at that moment, that's when you're able to feed yourself a lot of lies as it relates to whatever your expectation is for your particular team, right? I think at that point, you hear a lot of wishful thinking, maybe. I think that'd be the best way to categorize it. I think every fan base across the country is, hey, finally we're going to be the year we contend for a championship, or finally it's going to be the year we turn it around, or it's going to be where we win it all, right? Everybody, depending on team, depending on situation, is highly optimistic, and that's fine. I mean, the word fan is short for fanatic, right? And we do tend to be a little bit overzealous in our thinking and whatever our expectations are. Listen, I ain't like that. I have a very unbiased opinion, and I'm a very literal and practical person. I merely I merely base things off what I see in front of me, and I make, I think, an educated opinion about those things. And again, it's just an opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right or I'm wrong, but at the same time, I'm not a person who tends to over exaggerate things. I don't speak in hyperbole a lot. So, being a Florida State fan over the spring, throughout the summer, into the fall, a lot of what I've heard, a lot of what I hear every summer, every spring, every fall. So I've curved my expectations. And I would advise some of you all do the same goddamn thing. And I think that's important because I'll give you this example. Um, I don't I don't have a direct contact at Florida State. I think I did at one point. Don't have it anymore. So a lot of what I get is secondhand information, meaning this person heard this and they come back and tell it to me. Or like a lot of people, I frequent the blog sites. I frequent the chat rooms, message boards from different FSU publications, right? And you get information from there, FSU insiders, things of that nature. And over a period of time, you'll learn that there's only so much that you can get from things like that, from those different publications. So you have to really delineate between what's fluff and what isn't, right? You want to know one word that pisses me off every time I hear it? When a coach or not a staffer, but maybe a beat writer would tell you this player flashed. That burns another hole in my ass. I don't understand. I don't think people understand what flashing actually means, right? When I think, you see that? You see that? Huh? You saw that? That's flashing. That's fucking annoying. Flashing means you're not consistent. It means you made a splash play and then you disappeared for a little bit. And you probably came back around and maybe you flashed again. Listen, people, if Florida State is going to turn this thing around and achieve some of these high expectations y'all got for that team, inconsistency won't get us there. Flashing won't get us there. When I listen to people, when they speak to me, when I have these conversations, when I'm reading the things that I'm reading, I'm looking for consistency. Who is consistently showing up every practice? And there's probably 3 to 4 names you hear regularly. Kier Thomas, Jamin Robinson, and Jermaine Johnson, right? That's probably it. Don't get me wrong. You've heard some names come on late, like Dennis Briggs, Shaheem Brown, things of that, guys like that. But consistently, it's probably those 3 players, and maybe I'm leaving a player out. Blame my head, not my heart. Consistency. I want to see the people, and those are 3 transfers, right? Which I alluded to earlier when I mentioned that this is a completely different team from what we saw last year. Team is being made over, right? People have expectations of winning 7 games, 8 games, 9 games, 10 games in what is largely a rebuild. I'm not saying they can't do it. My question to you is, how the hell do you know they can? If this isn't the team from last year and this is a brand new team, how the hell do you know what they are capable of doing? And that's not even rhetorical. Go ahead, answer it. All right. So, given that I've given you the opportunity to answer it, feel free to dive in under the comments and let me know, right? You think the team has a good deal of talent. Okay, where the hell did you get that from? Talented teams don't win 3 games. Just saying. But it's a different team, right? Right. How do you know the level of continuity on this team? How do you know? Because there are question marks littered everywhere. I'm talking about from the very top of this team to the very bottom of it. From the coaching staff to I don't want to say the outfield staff, but from the coaching staff to the players. There are a lot of question marks. I think we have high hopes for them. I think we've seen glimpses of what they did. They flashed. There's that damn word again. I think we've seen flashes of what they can do, but when have we seen it consistently? And if you haven't seen it consistently, how can you tell me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you know that Florida State is going to be this next year? I'm not committing to anything. Because, you know what? Let me help y'all out. Hope y'all are sitting down for this. I am here to help. I really want y'all to know I'm here to help. And at this moment, I'm finna tell you something that I don't think most FSU fans are aware of. Are you sitting down? Okay. It's okay not to know. Huh? How do you like that? It's okay not to know. It's okay not to have the answer to every football-related question surrounding the Florida State Seminoles. Because in large part, you just don't fucking know. You may have an idea. I have an idea. But there are so many goddamn question marks that I can tell you confidently about a lot of things in regards to Florida State. I just don't fucking know. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with curbing your expectations and getting in waiting and see mode. It'll help a lot of you guys get off suicide watch as the season starts and progresses, right? Because if things go south, some of y'all are going to be unbearable. Because you set the table, you set the expectations so high for a team that has a lot of question marks. Think about it. There's nothing special about the running back room. I think there's a pieces there we like, but there's nothing really special there. We haven't seen Ja'Shawn Corbin carry a team, right? We saw games in which Lawrence Tuafili missed for whatever the reason, whether it be coach's decision, whatever, right? Nobody thinks he's a 3-down back, at least not anybody I've spoken with. The kid from Auburn, okay, great. We really don't know. You look at the wide receiver room, which is probably the biggest question on offense. We just don't fucking know. There are some good pieces. There are some young guys. Andrew Parchment comes in. We have high hopes for him, but we just don't know. You look at the offensive line. I think they still suck. I think the tackles got some invaluable experience. So I'm excited about Washington, and I'm excited about Scott, but I don't know. Interior, people, They are still having issues snapping the goddamn football. Bavion Johnson has been at Florida State since I had hair. We're still having issues snapping the goddamn football. How optimistic can you be when the battery of the fucking team isn't functioning? Battery meaning the game doesn't go unless the center and the quarterback can exchange, right? That's the battery. Kind of like in baseball with the pitcher and the catcher. We are having exchange issues. It's fall. Is any of this resonating with anybody? Am I hitting home here with any goddamn body? These question marks are there for a reason. Because the coaches, in good deal, don't know. They get paid to find out, and I'm pretty sure they will. And I'm pretty sure they're going to usher in the best product they possibly can. But right now, they don't know. Which is why you're having position battles. Which is why the practices are being as competitive as we've seen them in the past few years. Because they have to find answers to these questions. And if the coaches don't have answers, how the hell do you have any? I'm not telling you how to be a fan. That's not what I'm doing. I've said that before. That's not why I'm here. I'm merely giving you an alternative. I'm trying to help you get out of your own way. I'm optimistic, right? I would like to see this team win 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Nothing would make me happier. But until I see it, I can't tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt that it's going to happen. Get out of the superlatives and the hyperboles people speak in when it comes to these camps. I'm not saying ignore it, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have different publications that will tell you about a certain player, right? Let's take Marcus Lewis, for instance. He was a superstar in camp one year. We all know how that shit ended up. And listen, I can go on and on and on about players we've heard that have flashed, right? I can go on and on and on. Like, we are so starved for football that we'll take anything. You'll see guys with weight gains and say that guy's going to have a good year, all because his ass gained weight. Really? That's where we at? That's what this shit has come to? Because the kid gained weight, he's going to have a great year? Yeah, it helps, but that doesn't equate to production. Gaining weight does not equal productivity. Nowhere. Unless your job is to gain weight. And that's not their job. You dive into what these people say, and that's like some of you have tunnel vision, right? I can run down a laundry list of players we've heard that have potential. And I've said this before. Potential is a dirty word in football, at least as your career progresses. At some point, potential has to meet reality. And I'm not shitting on anybody who's reporting these things. They can only report what they see. But the problem is when you hype a player up and they get out there on the goddamn football field and embarrass themselves, then what? I think we all saw how many times Quayshawn Fuller's name was mentioned last season. And then came the Georgia Tech game. There were people questioning whether or not he should even be wearing a Florida State uniform. Oh, he's playing out of position. He's too slow. You were lied to. It's probably what the hell happened, and you believed it. There's nothing wrong with being in wait-and-see mode. Nothing. And it would serve a lot of you guys to be that. Again, there are some guys I think that this team are going to be able to lean on. They're going to make plays for Florida State and lead them into a few victories. But the level of optimism you all have going into fall camp when you largely don't have a lot of answers to a lot of questions that everybody else has is beyond me. I don't get it. And I don't understand why you would set yourself up for what may be one hell of a letdown. Because here it is again. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. There are some teams that the coaching meets the talent. And you know those teams are going to perform well. There are some teams where it's just trash every goddamn where. and it is a colossal clusterfuck. And you know those teams are going to suck. So whatever questions you have for those teams, good or bad, you have answers for them. Florida State is a team that largely you really don't know what's going to go on. So I'm just telling you to pump your brakes a little bit. It would serve you some good to just wait and see. Or at the very least, let these guys who are flashing put together a chain of good plays, put together some consistency, put together a chain of good practices, not just good plays, but practices and whole. Because once you see that, at that point, you can say the light is probably clicking for this kid. This is probably somebody we can lean on. This is probably somebody we can expect to go out there and do their job at a high level. You can't expect anybody to do anything at a high level when they're being inconsistent in practice. Let that sit in for a second. Because a lot of the guys who you hear flash every season, these guys are largely dependent upon to play a large number of snaps. They're going to go out there and be on the field a lot. If you are inconsistent in practice, there is no way in hell I can expect you to be consistent in a real football game. Chill. It's okay not to know. Like, let fall camp play out before you ordain this guy the savior of the football team, or you predict the team to win, to be second in the ACC, right? Let's just see how these things play out first, and then we can get together and say, hey, you know what? This team is probably going to be able to do X, Y, and Z this season, and we know that based off what we've seen and what we've heard. That's all the time I'm giving you. That's all the time I got. Didn't want to keep you guys too long, and if I did, oh well. Listen, as usual, I appreciate you hitting that play button and listening to me, man. You have no idea what it means to me when you give me some of your time. So it doesn't go unnoticed here, and I greatly appreciate it, guys. As always, man, hit those like buttons for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Share these videos with people who you think want to hear this type of content. I know I'm a bit raw, but I come to you raw because it's the only way I know how. As usual, you can follow me on the Hot Seat 19 on Twitter. You can follow me at the Hot Seat 19 on IG. So before I get out of here, man, I think we all heard about the passing of Coach Bowden. Not going to spend any time speaking on him because whatever I could say has already been said. There's a lot to say about a man like Coach Bowden. Sometimes I think you need to keep things simple, and I think this is one of those times. So that said, Coach Bowden, thank you. You are officially off the hot seat. Y'all be good.
Well, Bobby Bowden's having some words right now for the officials. Coach, what is your message to these guys over here?
Got about 5 holding penalties in there.
I understand, Coach.
Do they ever do it at just us?
The ones I've seen are your players, Coach.
It's never had that many.
You mentioned the penalties right there on your offensive line. What's your message to those young guys in there?
Well, you got a bunch of young guys. We've got 5 dadgum holding penalties. It's the same thing that beat us against Wake Forest. You know what? It'll beat us tonight if we don't stop it.
How do you stop it?
How do you stop it?
What are you going to tell them?
You go in and start praying. You know what? Pray that they'll quit holding.
Thanks, Bobby.
That's one way of doing it. Appeal to a higher power. 74-yard.